Hello and welcome to the movie podcast review of Frankenstein. My name is Shahbaz, and joining alongside me, they may be as handsome as Frankenstein, Daniel and Anthony. Daniel, how are you doing today?
Is it a compliment to be as handsome as Frankenstein?
You know what? That's up to the viewer. That's up to the viewer and the listener, because I be talking about Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein because he was a pretty hot Frankenstein, or am I just referring to you people as just freaks of nature, as monsters? I don't know. We'll have to wait for the jury to decide at the end.
I guess that's where we're at.
Anthony, how about you? How are you doing?
I'm not doing good after hearing all that, so I'm just gonna kind of cry a bit, but yeah.
Just accept it, you know? You could have called us your Franken dudes. No. Be like, no.
I'd rather be the scientist at that point.
Call me Victor Frankenstein, you know?
I'll call you.
Not just like, here's this hodgepodge of body parts that are part of the movie podcast.
You know, if someone were to make like a Frankenstein version of us, it would just be so surreal. Like they would take all of our body parts and put them together to create one host for the show. Studios might appreciate that. I don't know how it works.
That's an awful thought. I don't even want to think about who gets what and what it will look like. No, that's just no. Yeah, don't take that idea. That's gonna be probably a show coming to Netflix one day.
Oh no, the movie podcast is one.
Is it the movie podcast? But we're also cake at the same time.
Oh shoot! At the very end, they cut into us. Oh, this doesn't come from Daniel. This is actually a piece of fondant.
Wait, where is the body that I put here? Hold on a second. This is Betty Crocker. Oh my god!
We're just doing. It's like every Netflix show. Like it's like we just keep appearing in every single different one.
Was this like the MTV Movie Awards when they do all the different the parodies of it?
That. Oh, exactly that.
We're being chased by a Demogorgon.
Maybe, you know what, Netflix, you could have that idea. You know, we'll be happy to be part of it.
We will happily do it. Absolutely. Of course, the movie that we are talking about today is Frankenstein, which had was it a premiere at TIFF or it was at TIFF, right? Because I think it premiered somewhere else first, right?
Yes. So it did premiere in Europe first. It was supposed to have its North American premiere at TIFF, and it still technically did, but the Telluride Film Festival was just like, hey, we're going to do a little special screening of this, just so it technically played in North America first at Telluride before.
Not cool, Telluride. It's Toronto's job
not
to do
cool,
that.
Guys.
For
not cool at all. But you know, he's honorary Torontonian at this point.
Key to the city, man.
Yeah. Does he actually have the key to the city?
I think he does. I think he was given a key.
Wow. That's a high honor.
We'll give him a key if he wants. He could have the key to the movie podcast. It might be a
key to his apartment here, but it could be a key to the city. I don't know. It could be a bit of both.
It could be cake as well. It could be cake.
It could also be cake. We don't know. No. It could also be cake. Could you imagine just Guillermo he's getting home, putting it in, just smushes right into the keyhole?
Cake? And then he'll just pop out and be like, got you.
Smash zoom on his face. Cake?
The door's cake as well. He's like, what is going on? I just want to go home.
I just want to go home, please.
Oh man. But we didn't get a chance to watch this movie at TIFF, but we did get a chance to see it very recently, and we're really excited to dive into it. And we will also be having some interviews come out for this. So please, if you're a fan of body parts being thrown together, maybe stick around for that interview. Is that what the target audience is for this? Again, I can't remember.
Listen, man, it's October. It's Halloween season. This is just the Spirit Halloween episode for us at this point. We're just body parts galore.
Hey,
everywhere.
Spirit
or the cake.
We will take it. Or is it cake?
Or is it cake? Yeah. Any bakeries or Spirit Halloween want to sponsor us?
I haven't seen Anthony laugh this hard, by the way, on an episode ever. He needs to watch that episode.
All it took was disembodied limbs
because
to make
it's so
him
fitting,
like
man. It's so fitting. It's a Netflix movie, but Netflix is known for these cake series, so it just works so well.
Anthony, I know I'm crying too. Anthony, I know you're not a fan of Always Sunny for some reason, but you need to watch an episode of this latest season because it really tackles the cake that you're talking about here.
Okay, I'll watch that. Just that one.
Just that one.
Just that one.
We won't tell you which one it is, and you just gotta keep watching all the episodes.
You just gotta watch 20 years worth of Always Sunny to find it. Yeah.
We just want to give a huge shout out, first of all, to our friends over at Netflix for inviting us to watch this movie, for doing some interviews. It was a very cool experience, and we're really excited to dive into it. Of course, Frankenstein will be in select theaters October 17th. So right in time for Halloween. It's a spooky film. It's Guillermo del Toro, who is just a legend, and especially a Canadian legend. Well, he's not Canadian, but he's in Canada. He's a legend for sure. And it will be available on Netflix shortly after November 7th. So a lot of great ways to watch it. And we will get into if you should be watching this in theaters, on Netflix, or wherever.
And I'm just so happy that we actually got to see this in a movie theater, because again, like, it's, you never know sometimes when it comes to doing interviews. Sometimes we'll get screeners, but the fact that we actually got to see this in a theater, the same theater that we watched Maestro in, which has just incredible sound, I think it just, again, we're going to talk all about it, but definitely adds to that experience.
Oh, 100%. So Daniel, please give us your first reactions to Frankenstein.
Man, Guillermo del Toro is just such a, I think, just a fun director. And I think with Frankenstein, knowing now how much he absolutely adores this character, you know, we saw like him give a little speech about how, you know, he has like this bleak house that's like 2 stories and he has like 10,000 like different props. And like some of those rooms are just dedicated to Frankenstein. So it's lovely to see that this is a character that he has just so much love and just admiration for. And Frankenstein's a character that I actually studied a lot in grade 10 English, and then also in my literature classes in university. Frankenstein was a book that kept coming back up in different versions of that book, and obviously so many different film versions of this. It is a classic tale. Mary Shelley's novel is iconic, and it is something that is the basis for so many different areas of fiction and relationships and romance and things like that to see. Like, I even think about just like a movie like Warm Bodies, which was one from, 10 years ago, Nicholas Hoult, where he's a zombie in it and he kind of starts to find love. And it's just, again, it's a lot of different things that you pull from these larger movies that we have now, all kind of are ode to that original Mary Shelley novel. And I was actually a big fan, I don't think it was universally loved at the time, but of Kenneth Branagh's version of Frankenstein with Robert De Niro playing the monster, the creature in that. So now fast forward to Guillermo's version, Jacob Elordi playing the monster, Oscar Isaac playing Victor Frankenstein. I think you have such an incredible cast assembled in this movie. And it's an embarrassment of riches that the cast that you have. You have Oscar Isaac, you have Jacob Elordi, you have Christoph Waltz, you have Mia Goth. You have such an amazing supporting cast to this film. And everyone is just picture perfect. Oscar Isaac is exactly the type of figure that I see playing Victor Frankenstein. Playing somebody who is just so obsessed with the idea of creating life and being God and being able to create something. He lost his mom, and I want to beat death now. And I think Oscar Isaac is always so incredible, and he brings that passion, and he has an accent in this film, and you believe it, and he's just so amazing. And then you have his creation, Jacob Elordi, who, one, super tall, but super just imposing already as an actor. We were lucky to talk to him earlier this year, but he is so, I think, so spot on for this role, because he has like this, he almost looks like one of the engineers from Prometheus. And I think that's one of the things that we called out when we first saw the footage earlier this year, where it's like you have this almost like clean look. And I think immediately that's where Del Toro's vision comes through, that this definitely feels like a Del Toro take on a creature. This isn't, your Universal style monster movie. No, this looks like a man sewn and pieced together. And I think that's so cool to see that. And I think Jacob Elordi is just so wonderful throughout this. Mia Goth, also great. She's always great. Christoph Waltz, always fun. But I don't think they got enough time to shine in this film. This really is Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi's vehicle through and through. And I love the performances in this film. The score in this movie, absolutely phenomenal. I'm gonna, if one of you guys could pull up the composer,
Alexander Desplat.
Oh my God, how did we not know?
How could you not tell?
Should have recognized his violins.
Yeah,
it's no, seriously, like absolutely beautiful, incredible score for this film. I am waiting for it to hit Apple Music because I just want to listen to it. It's a standout, especially getting to see it in a theater. It's incredible. The visuals for this film, I think, are where it lost me a little bit, because I think, again, I don't know if it's a psychological thing. I don't know if it's just a Netflix thing. there is a look to this movie, and I think it's just some of the visual effects, some of the brightness that it has, that you have this incredible gothic, beautiful scenery. But I think just the way it's lit sometimes is so bright that it feels a little bit more like we are on sets. Sometimes it feels like we are in locations, and because we're in these locations a lot, it loses a little bit of that mystery and a little bit of that gothic horror that you would want that comes with telling Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in this form. And again, this is something that I think it's really exclusive to Netflix films. I'm seeing this where everything just looks very overly lit. And I don't know if it's just a mandate by them or if it was a visual choice by Del Toro, if he's changed the way that he makes his films at all for it being a streaming film. But again, I didn't notice this with Nightmare Alley. I didn't notice this with Shape of Water. Those are truly beautiful movies that shine at nighttime in the best ways and in positive ways, where the night shots in this film and even just the sets lost a little bit of their mystery because it felt very overlit. But again, that's all to say, this is Frankenstein. You know the story. It's a little familiar. Of course, you're going to think that if you've seen other versions of this, but you are getting Del Toro's direction and you're getting amazing performances. And I truly did very much enjoy my time watching this movie.
Jacob Elordi's performance as Frankenstein is going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest performances that we've got of a character like that. I was so moved, and I really never at any point noticed that it was Jacob Elordi. The only thing that kind of gave him away were his eyes. And it's because we've stared at them for so long, especially when Daniel and I did the interview back in Australia with Mr. Elordi here. There's an innocence to his eyes that I kept seeing throughout the entire film. And that's the only time I really ever noticed that it was Jacob Elordi. And that didn't mean that it pulled me out of the character. It just really cemented that character even further. But I'm blown away as to how amazing he was as this monster. There was such a human depth to him. And the movie, the way it's kind of told, it's in two parts. It's Victor's story, and it's also the monster story as well. And you're kind of seeing them collide, and you're getting these perspectives on what happened and what we perceived of what was happening. And I really fell in love with that. I think it is a bit of a longer film, and I think it's got some visual issues in terms of a CGI at certain points, like Daniel kind of mentioned. But what I didn't expect was to be so blown away by it and to be so engrossed by it. The character of Frankenstein has always been interesting to me, but I've never had such a love for the character. I think one of my memories of Frankenstein is watching the acclaimed 2004 hit Van Helsing, starring Hugh Jackman, and having Frankenstein show up in that movie. That movie, it's a fun film on its own. And I mean, if you just can go under it, turn your brain off. But then not having seen, I think, a character of Frankenstein in a very, very long time, because I missed out on watching I, Frankenstein with Aaron Eckhart. And there was another one, I think, that also came out shortly after. But seeing this and seeing the love that Guillermo has for this character, it's true. Like, there's no one else, I think, that could have made a movie like this, because the style is there, the visuals are there, but most importantly, the love is there. And Frankenstein is so damn cool to look at because, like you mentioned, Daniel, you actually see these parts kind of put together, but it's never very gross looking. It's always just kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. That's how I would imagine it being done. Now, the process to get to Frankenstein is pretty gross. There was a lot of moments where I was like, oh, got to close my eyes because I don't want to see that happening. But because the performance is sealing you in, because of the visuals are sealing you in, you really, really fall in love. Yes, I don't think Mia Goth got all the time. That's a tongue twister right there. Someone needs to write that. She got all the time in the world to really flesh out this character, pun intended. But the moments that she is on screen, she's very engaging and very magnetic. And I really love seeing her in any movie, but especially love seeing her in this. But this is Jacob Elordi's movie through and through. And then Oscar Isaac also pulling in his weight as well. But man, if Jacob is going to be in conversation for award season, I really hope so, because it is such a brilliant performance, and I'm excited to watch it again just for that purpose. Anthony, please, what about yourself?
Yeah, I thought the strongest part of this movie were the performances. In my eyes, Oscar Isaac playing a mad scientist, he did a really, really good job. Like, I believed everything that he was saying on screen. I believed his actions. I believed that he wanted to conquer death. And it's Frankenstein is such an old story, and it's such a played out story. We've seen it so many times on the big screen. It's hard to reenact that and just make it so believable, especially because I wasn't so connected with the whole Frankenstein storyline, and this is just my history with Frankenstein. I'm not someone who, I know of the character, I know of the universal version of Frankenstein, but it's not like someone I read about, or I never read Mary Shelley's book, and I never studied him in high school. So this is kind of like my first introduction to the literary version of the character. And as much as I thought the performances were great, I think the story was so long that I disconnected from the movie, and I really thought like there was no risk taken in the story, even though Guillermo del Toro's, this is his passion project in a sense, so he's probably going to be straightforward with who this character is and what the book told. But I felt like, yeah, this is very much a direct version of what I think the story must be in the book. But I think his passion comes out on the screen when it comes to the performances, and when it comes to the storytelling and the big set pieces and design of the costumes, and even the camera language, how it works around these characters. I did think that he could have instilled a little bit more of a gothic nature in terms of the visual look of this movie. This movie looks too clean, looks too digital. Again, that's another takeaway for me. It's like, I need to feel like I'm in that time period, and you're making it clear as day. And I couldn't wrap around myself when it comes to, like, Nightmare Alley looks so much gothic and noir because that was the story, but this one looks so much brighter, and it's like, oh, but this is a monster movie, and who really is the monster, and how do we like take that and blend it in with a really nice looking visual look to this film. And it just feels like another Netflix production. It's too clean, too digital, too high definition, too 4K or 8K or whatever K they used in this.
Yeah, all the K's
12K.
in this movie.
All the K's. Yeah. But I think
Can't spell Frankenstein without a K.
And I think the set pieces were fantastic. There's a sequence with the boat where Frankenstein's pushing it and he's lifting it up through the ice, and things like that just recreate that practicality. I think Guillermo does a great job of both practical and visual, but I feel like this movie is so crisp and clean, it almost felt fake at times. But yeah, I was surprised with Jacob Elordi. I'm like, shit, man, you can fucking act, man. That's pretty cool. And that's no offense to him, but like, that's something that he's been working towards so long. So good for him. Even though he's playing a man with few words, I think as you get to know him throughout the second part of this movie, you're like, yeah, you are doing everything you can to stay away from those Netflix series that you don't want to be a part of anymore. What were they? The kissing booth? Like, those are things that, like, you got to start somewhere. But like, I'm glad that he got I'm glad that he got to a point where he gets to act and perform in a way that it makes him happy. But yeah,
everyone's got to pay their dues,
I'm in a mixed boat with this movie. I thought it was super long, and I think there could have been some more risks taken.
I think Anthony's right there for sure.
Like, I think
you could have been longer.
No, not that I wanted to be longer. Sorry, I think that Guillermo's probably original version of this movie was probably like 4 hours long, and I'm glad that we got it down to at least 2.5 hours. Still too long, but I wouldn't be surprised if Guillermo was like, "Well, yeah, I shot for 3 years this film," and I was like, "Oh wow, okay, great, that's amazing."
Yeah, but I think one of the big things that Anthony, I think, just really nailed is that there isn't a huge risk in this film. This is very much an adaptation of the book. Some subtle changes here and there, but nothing egregious, where it just feels like, okay, you have such a visionary director behind this, and it's such a well-made movie. And again, it's not like it's a bad movie, but I was also just almost like, man, Guillermo, like, go get weird with it, man. Like, go, like, give us a take on it. Next year, we're getting Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, and that looks like such an interesting version of Frankenstein and the bride and these characters. And again, I don't want to fault this for being true to the text, but I'm also just like, you have a director who is such a visionary and does such cool ass shit. And like, whether I loved Nightmare Alley or not, I'm like, that's a very cool looking movie. Pacific Rim, crazy looking movie. Crimson Peak, beautifully gothic film. And I wish that this had a little bit more notes of that, where it really leaned into the visual language. Because like what Anthony said, it's very clean, it's very bright. There's some beautiful sets in this. There's some beautiful set pieces in this. And I really wish that it took advantage of that more. You know, less than a year ago, we got Nosferatu, which predominantly takes place during the night. And it's one of the best looking movies of the year. And I wish that Guillermo I felt that he let himself loose a little bit more, but it could also be because he's such a fan and he wants to, you know, give us the definitive version of the text. And I think this pretty much is that. Jacob Elordi, again, I think man of few words, but man with a lot of presence. And, you know, from that very opening scene in this film where he's, you know, literally, it looks like he's like an apparition of death. Like he has smoke coming off of him. He's just chasing Victor. And it's like running from like Michael Myers, man. Like this guy's just like steadily walking and everyone's just losing their minds of how scared they are because he has that incredible presence to him.
I didn't even know that Frankenstein could heal. Like this guy's taking bullets, but I always thought like, okay, he's already dead. Who cares, right? Like you can't kill something that's already dead. But like this guy heals. He has a healing factor, which I don't know if that's part of the Wolverine book, but that's pretty cool. I guess that's one of the risks that he took. Like, let's make him heal.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But I loved also what Jacob did with the voice. I think, you know, the voice of Frankenstein is one of those things where you really just hear like the monster like growl and everything. And it sounded really good. It found a good rhythm and it found a good place to be in. And I'm sure maybe there was some modulation done on the post-production side of things, but it was really good. It sounded really scary. It sounded like what I expected Frankenstein to sound like.
Yeah, he cannot heal in the novel, but like in other adaptations of it in the comic side, like he has a healing factor to him. But yeah, it was interesting to see like, oh, that was like an interesting layer that they added onto him. I'm like, oh, I wish we got a little bit more, you know, crazy like that. But I also just think the way the creature looks is very interesting. And I think as he kind of begins to evolve and he has like this beautiful silk hair, it's such an interesting and I think distinct look for this version of the creature.
Yeah, I would say Frankenstein hasn't looked this good in a long time or ever. Because, you know, when you have Jacob Elordi playing him, he kind of has like it's like if Frankenstein was a fashionista, you know, like he's not scary. Like, you know, like
Frankenstein.
He's too sexy. Like I needed more scars on this guy. And like there must have been something grotesquerie about him.
I mean, there were a lot of scars on him though, Anthony. Like literally his face is like four faces.
I'm telling you, any girl that saw him, she's leaving. Yeah? She's leaving her man for sure.
Oh, damn.
Any man too, really, who saw him.
No,
like he
sure,
was a good-looking guy. He was a good, but you know what he kind of reminded me of. I just think it's such a weird pull. You know, Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way some of his patterns were.
Yes, on the head.
It kind of reminded. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that. Where you look at Robert De Niro's Frankenstein, he's just looks like, you know, Tom Hardy with a bunch of like just stitches on his face. It's a little scarier. But yeah, I think he just has such an intimidating presence in this film, and I think that's what I'm going to remember the most of it, along with that score.
Yeah, the score was absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Well, let's get to our final recommendations for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Anthony, please kick us off.
Yeah, this is going to be a stream it for me. I don't think you have to run to the theaters to watch it. I think this is a good Netflix film to watch at home. It is a longer film, so trust me, if you don't have comfortable seats at a theater, the best one is going to be your house. Other than that, like, yeah, it's there's things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it, and yeah, it just made me laugh at my own joke, and no one laughed.
What was the joke?
The couch joke was the joke, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn into Frankenstein right now.
I was cutting out. It probably cut out when you made the joke.
Maybe we could like build our own couch.
Yeah, maybe we can Frankenstein a joke next time for you. You know, who knows? We'll figure it out.
Damn. Mean.
I'm going to be right there with you, Anthony. I think it's a definite stream it. I mean, in theaters, what you're going to be definitely getting is the sound, which was mind-blowing. I loved how it sounded, and that, may not warrant the price of a ticket, but it definitely is a great sounding film. I think because of its length and maybe some of its visual, inconsistencies, I would say watching it at home, streaming it, especially just after Halloween, post-Halloween, you're like, I still want to feel scary. This is a good movie to put on. Daniel, please take us home.
Yeah, it's a stream it for me. Honestly, there's some really great visual moments in this film. I can't get over just like the look of it sometimes. So like it's sometimes you're like, yeah, this feels like I'm watching a Netflix series. Like, and I wish that we could figure out how to not bring that look to every single thing Netflix does, because then it all just kind of blends together with a lot of their different series. But the real star power is the stars of this film. It's Jacob Elordi. It is Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth. They are fantastic in this film. Mia Goth, I wish she got a little bit more to do, but Elordi and Oscar Isaac going back and forth with one another is just so fun to watch. Yes, it's not reinventing, the creature, but it is a fantastic version of the text, and I definitely think it's worth it to watch at home.
Thank you again to our friends over at Netflix for inviting us to watch this movie and also do these interviews. So please wait for that, because the show notes down below will take you to all the different places that the movie podcast is, whether it's our Discord, whether it's our social media. You can see all that information down there. That was This Time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.